Welcome, everybody, to the IdiotSpeak podcast number 4.
Woo!
James, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about E3, specifically Nintendo's E3, and what we think is going to happen.
Yeah, I know Nintendo has already announced that they're not going to talk about their new platform, the NX. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of curious about that ever since they've announced it, of what that's actually going to be. I know there's been a lot of speculation that people think it's going to be a fusion between their handheld and home console thing, and they kind of...
I thought that's what the Wii U was.
Well, no, this is going to be like where you can actually play NX games on your handheld game while you're not at home type of thing. And they've kind of alluded to that's what they're wanting it to be all connected.
See, I don't know if I would buy into that, though.
I might, just depending on how if they do it right. Because there is a very right way they can do it, and there's a very wrong way they can do it, and there's probably the Nintendo way that they're going to do it, which we haven't thought of yet. I mean, if they say, hey, you can play Metroid NX on the go with the handheld version, and then when you come home and you walk in the door, you put the NX somehow connected into, or it
syncs wirelessly.
It syncs into it, and all of a sudden you're still playing it now on your TV in full whatever graphics it's going to have. I could be okay with that.
Well, that's basically, I mean, they tried to do that with the 3DS a little bit, saying that you could use the 3DS as a controller and stuff like that, but I guess they don't really have any crossover games that are...
Yeah, I mean...
fully functional.
Other than using it as a controller for Smash Brothers, I don't even have a 3DS, but does it...
a few.
I know you have. But does it connect with any other aspect of the Wii U?
Not... I mean, there was, like you said, the Smash Brothers thing. Other than that, there wasn't a ton of titles that came out on both platforms that you could do. There was, what was it, Animal Crossing that had... a lot of it was on the 3DS. You could download an app on the 3DS that would somehow link to the game, and you could move stuff from that app or do stuff in that app that would process and switch over to the game on the Wii U, but it really wasn't like you weren't playing the full game on the 3DS or anything like that.
Gotcha. Now, I do know that they had some releases that were like on the 3DS shop and the Wii U shop, and if you bought one, you got the other for free. They did some like cross promotion like that, which it was fine with me. I'm like, that's cool. I don't have a 3DS. That affected me in no way whatsoever.
Yeah, I kind of got burnt out by the Smash Brothers thing, because like I expected there to be either more of a difference or more of some cool things that would happen because I have both. And really, other than the Mewtwo early release that I forgot about, so I didn't get to do it anyway. But
I mean, to be fair with that, Sakurai did say he wanted that to be a exclusive to people who did have both.
Yeah.
But he realized early on that was going to be a problem, because what if a family had two children and they each had their own 3DS, but they only had one family Wii U?
Right.
They each
who gets it?
Yeah. Right. So I kind of agree with you. I don't really see the purpose of releasing a 3DS version and a Wii U version when they were not that different. They had the exact same roster. I think the only thing that was honestly different was the stages.
Yep, and that was all they did, was basically plug in 3DS stages versus Wii U stages. It wasn't a huge difference. The gameplay was a little bit different, but not much at all.
I was almost like, that was almost the game that was going to get me to buy a 3DS, but when I saw the change, or not the changes, but the differences, I was like, I'll wait. I don't need to pay for a handheld console just to play a game a few months early, then never touch it again.
Which is exactly what I did. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I'd be curious to see. Like I said, there's a right way they can handle this, and there's a wrong way that they can handle this. But apparently, we're not going to find that out this year.
Nope, sure doesn't look like it.
I mean, they've said we will not be talking about it until the 2016 E3. They've also said they're not going to bring up what they're going to do with the smartphone devices. They're I believe it's was it DNA is the company they're going through with?
Which I'm kind of upset about. I wish they would at least tease it a little bit, give us one or two things that they're going to put out there. Because if I knew, like, let's say that a Pokemon game was going to come to my phone versus having to go out and buy it or something like that, I mean, that would actually make me hold off to buy it on my phone, and it would get me a little bit more excited. Right now it's like, okay, well, what are they really going to put on there? Am I going to be playing Super Nintendo games on my phone because that's all it can handle?
Now, they did say these games that are going to be on mobile phones are going to be exclusive for mobile phones. They are not going to just port old games to mobile phones.
Well, then all it sounds like is they're going to try to do what they just did with the 3DS, which is you're going to get an app that might give you something if you can beat it or get through it or do something special in the app that might port over to what's actually in the game. It'll give you a code or something.
Right.
But I don't know if would that make me buy a game for my phone? I don't think it would.
I mean, do you play a lot of mobile games with your phone?
I have quite a few.
Yes.
I would say most of the time if I'm on my phone, it's not because I'm looking at email or something. I'm usually playing some kind of game on there.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I have never been a huge mobile phone gamer. I just don't do it. I'm not even a big mobile gamer whatsoever. Like, I have not owned a mobile console, I believe, since the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
I don't have a purpose for it. I don't do a lot of public transportation. Like, for me, that's where I would use it.
Yeah.
But everywhere I drive, I'm driving. I can't be playing a game and driving, and then at work,
you can't multitask illegally.
Illegally, yes. But no. At work, I don't ever have a chance to use it. And if I'm at home, I'm just gonna play the Wii U or whatever. I'm not gonna use a mobile system at home. So I really don't. I don't have a lot of use for mobile gaming.
Well, for me, it's different because mobile gaming is all about the accessibility and being able to do it. Like, I can sit on my couch while my kids are eating dinner. Now, I can't sit there and, like, flip on the Wii U and play it for 20 minutes at a time because I'm not going to get anywhere and do that kind of stuff. Whereas I could sit on my phone for 20 minutes and progress through a level or something on a mobile game that I wouldn't be able to do necessarily otherwise.
And I understand that completely. I just, it doesn't really do anything for me. So I've never been a huge mobile gamer, and when I saw that Nintendo was going to be doing mobile games, I kind of didn't care. It didn't feel like it affected me whatsoever. I'm curious of how they were going to do it. Like, my first thought was, okay, are they just going to port the old NES and Super Nintendo games over? And they pretty much kind of strictly said, no, we're going to do unique games for the mobile devices.
Which I don't understand, because if you look at what everybody's doing on their phones right now, they're taking ports. They're illegally downloading ports of these games anyway.
Right, the emulators.
Make it so that it's actually the game and it's actually licensed through Nintendo and make money off of it.
I think the reason why they don't want to do that is they want you to only be able to do that from their home consoles.
Yeah, but I mean, there's different ways that you could do it. Okay, if you're going to do that on your phone, it's only through the Nintendo app, and you have to sign up through a service that's Nintendo only, and you have to go into that app to access your games. Because that would be really cool if I could go in and say, like, all right, well, on my Wii U, I own Secret of Mana, I own The Legend of Zelda, all this other stuff, and it could pull my Wii U account,
right?
And I could pull those games up on my phone and play them there. That would be awesome, especially if I could pull save states from those games.
Well, that's another thing, though, is right now I believe Nintendo is the only console that doesn't have an account-based system. It's hardware-based.
It's not cloud.
It's hardware-based.
Yeah.
Like, if my Wii U or your Wii U or whatever is destroyed in some way, none of that information saved anywhere.
Yep.
You'd have to basically start over. Now, I believe all the other consoles, it's account-based.
I know for sure the PS4 is. I don't know about the Xboxes. I know that you can back up the Xboxes and do different stuff like that. But as far as I know, they don't actually have a cloud, because I just had to buy a new Xbox because my old one ate dirt. But so bought this new one and stuff, and I have a transfer cable from when I bought different hard drives and stuff like that. But I couldn't find anywhere where I could do that online, like where I could hook, this hard drive up to a different hard drive just that's online and back everything up online and then pull it off of there to the new hard drive, which would be extremely helpful. And even if they wanted to charge me $15 to do that, I'd probably do that, or just going out and finding this stupid cable that I'm going to use once and then have to put in a box or resell.
Right. Now, I do believe though that at least with the Xbox One they do have some kind of a account base. So
yeah, and I'm going off 360.
Right. So I don't know. I do believe that they are account based. I think Nintendo is the only one that doesn't, and I really think they should. Now that brings me to my next point though, is I know through DNA, as everyone knows, Nintendo's canceled Club Nintendo, which was their old membership thing.
Which I really liked.
I liked it too. I liked that you bought games, you got points or coins or whatever they called them, and
earn rewards.
You could get either physical items, which I never cared about, or download free games.
Yep.
And that's what I usually use them for. Well, they got rid of it. Was it in March? April?
Yeah, you could still download, like if you
can
had
still
an
download
account, you could still download stuff from there that you had points and stuff like that for.
Yeah, that cancels in June.
Yeah, but you could no longer sign up or start a new account
Or
after March.
register anymore.
Yeah.
Now I know they said with DNA they're working on getting their new membership system with them. It's partnering with them, and it's going to somehow, they keep saying it's going to be all connected. So that kind of gives me hope that it maybe not with the Wii U, but maybe with this new system, there is going to be this account base where you buy stuff from your account, and then if, like, let's say your system does die, you can transfer it to another one.
But it may just be like what I was saying, where it's transferring whatever you've won from that mobile game into.
Right.
Like if you buy Star Fox DNA and you beat Andros on it, then you get this sweet looking ship that you can use on the Wii U Star Fox version.
Right. I don't know. I'm just hoping, I guess, maybe is what I'm saying, is I'm hoping this is going to... Nintendo's realized, yes, we need to make an account-based system or service and go with that. But, again, we're not going to find any of that out this year. So let's talk about what we are getting this year. I know we're at least getting a new Star Fox. Was it Yoshi's Woolly World?
Yeah, which basically looks like Kirby's Yarn...
was it the Yarn Adventures?
Yeah, something like that.
I never played that
with
one.
Yoshi.
Which, to be fair, at the last E3, I had no interest in this Yoshi Woolly World. Seeing that game at the last E3, it looked really good. I went from not caring in the slightest about it to, like, I may actually pick this up, because I loved Yoshi's Island as a kid. And I haven't touched Yoshi's New Island. I know that's the 3DS version. I've heard terrible things about it. So I've had very little interest in it. But this game looked really good. And the yarn stuff didn't really interest me until I saw it. And then just the way it interacts with everything. And, like, when Yoshi eats something, you see him, like, actually slurp the yarn in. And like, it makes it whatever unravel. Like, that actually kind of looked really cool. And I was really impressed with it. I didn't think I was going to be. And I think that's why I'm actually kind of interested in it, is because I was not expecting to care, and now I'm into it.
Well, and that's one thing that Nintendo's always done, is they've always found a way to hook you with the gameplay. I mean, it could be an absolutely outlandish idea, like, really, you're going to take yarn and make that fun to do? But if it plays like a Mario game or like, Yoshi's World game, people are going to buy it and play it because of that.
Well, I kind of felt the same way when, again, last year, Nintendo announced Splatoon.
Yeah.
Okay, these are kids that turn into squids. Cool. But I played the global test fire that they had a couple weekends ago, and I was blown away. It actually was a lot of fun. I'm running around as this little kid looking thing, and then I'm shooting ink everywhere, and I get to turn into a squid and ambush people. And I'm like, okay, and the controls felt really good.
Yeah,
it was a little bit of a mix between movement controls with the gamepad, using it to aim, and then the sticks to move and, like, kind of adjust your aim, and it worked really naturally. It felt natural, and that's kind of what I was hoping they were going to do with it. Is if you're going to use motion controls, have them feel natural.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's like you were saying, though, that's the thing. I never expected that game to actually really be good, and then it really was. I was
pulled you in.
Yeah. So they're also going to be doing their Mario Maker, which I I like the idea of it. I do like the idea of it because I mean I used to watch the Mario Kaizo videos.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Which is basically, I think enough people watched those videos that Nintendo went, maybe we should do it where they can make their own.
And I don't know if you saw, they have announced officially that you can share levels with people.
Yeah, which will be good because it's not going to be any fun to make a level and be like, "Hey guys, come over to my place and you can play on this sweet Mario level that I made."
Was that like your '90s kid voice?
Yes, that's exactly what that was. I was in the basement playing Duke Nukem when I made up that voice.
Fair enough, but no, I think that was a really good idea. Like I'm really behind the concept of this game of letting people create Mario levels, and you can make them it looks like as challenging as possible. Like I saw this video of Miyamoto playing a level somebody made. I don't know who made it. Somebody else, I'm sure, that was in Nintendo, but. And he died in it. And it's like, Miyamoto died in a Mario level? Why? It was a cheap trick that got him to. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like it's like this. He was doing this sprint towards the goal, and all of a sudden, like just something appeared right at the end and killed him. And but yeah, I do believe Nintendo's like, yeah, this is our answer to Kaizo and just Mario ROM hacks.
Yeah.
And my only, I guess, thing that I'm curious about is the price of this game.
Yeah. Well, and what I would be interested in is, is it going to be let's say once every 3 months, they establish whatever the 10 hardest levels of that anybody's made, and then does that come out as a free DLC? Or is it like you're only going to be able to download shared people that you can find or know to look for stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's
which I guess using the internet, I mean, I'm sure you could look up like, oh, this guy made a hard ass level.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna have their levels on YouTube. Like, here, demo my level. This is my my name. You can come find me. Whatever.
Right. But I mean, like something like that where Nintendo actually kind of structured it and made like, okay, once every 30 days we're going to come out with, 5 levels that all these people voted on and made the hardest and stuff. See if you can get through them.
That would be cool. I would like that. What I can honestly see them doing though is kind of like what they did with Brawl, Smash Brothers Brawl. They just randomly sent people levels. Like there was no like
rhyme or reason.
Yeah, there was no voting or like these are really well made. It's just like, hey,
go play this.
And you only got it for like a set period of time. I believe you got it for a day or.
See, I don't like that.
I don't. I mean, that's what I'm hoping they don't do, but I can see them doing it that way.
Like I would hope you could pick and choose. Like you play a level, you really like it, you can hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you may only have a set amount of levels that you can hold on to. I could understand that.
Right.
But
kind of like with Mario Kart 8, you can only save so many replays or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I know that's aren't other people's, but you get a set amount that you can store, and I don't think they've done that yet with Smash Brothers for the Wii U. I know they talked about eventually you were going to be able to I know you can create stages, but I don't think you can share them yet. I think eventually they said they're going to work on implementing that into the game. So I'm curious on if they're going to follow the Brawl aspect of just randomly send people stages and they only get it for so long, but if maybe now, like if you do get the stage and you like it, you can start, you can save so many.
Yeah.
So I hope they do that again with Smash Bros. For Wii U and with this Mario Maker. And that was I never thought of that, where Nintendo actually gets to like send out like these are the top 10 levels either with difficulty or just people had most fun playing them.
Like even if it was just like a mail that you got on your Wii U, because you have Mario Maker, you get this mail sent to you,
right?
And it has a link, and if you click on that link, then it brings you to the level, and then you can play it because you own Mario Maker.
And that would be I would like that. That would be really neat. But what I was trying to get at was with the price of this game.
Yeah,
I don't want to pay $60 for this game because to me there's no content already in it. Yeah, you can make as much content as you want.
Well, you don't. Do you know that there's no content in it?
I'm under the impression there's no content in it.
See, I would think that they would have to have. I mean, unless it's just a straight DLC, which it doesn't look like it's going to be. It's going to be a full game that you can buy. At least that's what it looks like so far.
Well, that's what I haven't heard yet. I was going to see if you've heard. Is it going to be retail or eShop?
I don't know. I mean, that was kind of like. what was the last one? The Toad's Treasure Finder or whatever. I thought that was going to be DLC, and it wasn't.
I did too.
So I mean, if they come out with a full game, I would expect there to be some kind of plot, even if it's like, all right, the computer has to try to get through this level in so many lives. You have to create something using this set amount of stuff to avoid him getting through it, and these are the things he can and can't do.
That would be cool. I would be behind that. And again, to be fair, I figured that Splatoon was going to be only multiplayer, and they did announce there is going to be a single player for it. So I could be wrong. There could be some sort of a plot to the game. Just from what I've seen, though, it looks to me like it's just going to be a strict sandbox creator type of game.
Which, if they do that and it's a DLC and it's, like $10-15,
exactly,
sure, great, that'll be great.
But if you try to sell this to me for like 50 to 60,
there's no way.
I that's where I draw the line. Like, I will not pay full retail for that. I'll wait till the price comes down.
I was about to say, wait 3 months, it's going to come down in price. But that's the thing, and then plus more levels will be available. If you're allowed to share them. I mean, people are going to take time to make the levels.
The thing is, though, Nintendo games never go down in price. Like, they don't. I unless they're like the player edition game things that you see, like kind of like
Game of the Year,
kind of like their version of Game of the Year. I remember a couple years ago, I can't remember how long it's been, but I still see like Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 for like $50, $60 still.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind that Nintendo is one of the only companies I know that they don't lower the price of their games for a long time.
Even if it flops, like they lower it to $40.
Yeah.
It's like, I still don't want to pay $40 for that.
I guess that is kind of a statement to their games because they still do really well, but it amazes me.
Yeah. So, the Fire Emblem stuff that they're supposed to be talking about, have you heard anything about?
Well, this new one, I never can pronounce this correctly.
Megami Tensei.
Yeah, thank you. Cross Fire Emblem. I know they've been talking about that for years, or at least a long time. I know I keep hearing about it, and I think people thought it kind of went away because I don't believe it was talked about last year. And I just remember like everyone was really thinking that it had just gone away. And
they started talking about the 3DS Fire Emblem, and that kind of bumped it out of the water, I think.
Well, it was the last Direct, I believe, that Nintendo did, and they had a Fire Emblem trailer, and everyone's like, oh, it's back, and then it was like a completely different game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe it really is gone. And then all of a sudden, in all the E3 announcements, it's been listed as being going to be shown. So I don't know too much about it. I've never been much of a Fire Emblem fan. I know a bunch of people who are. Yeah. But it never really appealed too much to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a friend that Fire Emblem could come out with complete crap, he's still going to go buy it.
Well, I know people who, like, when they saw, what was it, that Project Steam game? If you have the Ike Marth amiibos, they'll be in the game, and like that turned people who had no interest in Steam like, oh, it's now a Fire Emblem game, and they'll go and switch over to it. And it's like, so it's got a devout following. It's just I've never been able to get into it.
No, and I'm one of those people that it's like the Final Fantasy games. Like, I can't get into just one Final Fantasy. Like, if I'm gonna get into Final Fantasy, I have to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna devote 6 months of my life to going through all of the games, and that's kind of what Fire Emblem is. There's so many games out there. It's got such a history to it that if I got into it, I'd really have to delve deep into it. And
I feel like it's too late to do that now because, like you said, there are so many games. There's no way to catch up.
Yeah.
Something I am curious of, though, that's coming out is Xenoblade Chronicles X. We've been hearing about this for a long time, ever since it was just Codename X.
Right.
And I did not play... I've heard of Xenoblade Chronicles. I've seen people play it, and it's one of those things I always wanted to play, but I remember in the U.S., we didn't get a lot of it. Like, the stores didn't have it, and then the price of it went crazy.
Well, because we didn't have a lot of it.
Well, right. And I know GameStop, they started reprinting used copies of it for, like, I believe, like, anywhere from $70 to $90.
Dear Lord.
And I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay that for this game that I don't really know if I'm going to like it or not. I mean, I like RPGs, but I'm weird with my RPGs. I haven't played a good RPG, in my opinion, in a long time. But this Chronicles looks really good. Xenoblade Chronicles X looks really good.
Yeah, I mean the gameplay that I've seen seems to flow really well. It's got a good combat system in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's been thrown together just to be thrown together because.
Well, and it looks so diverse. Like, you've got the parts where your characters, you're running around, then you've got, like, these mech suits that they get into that can either fly or drive, and it just looks really diverse in what you can do. And I can't remember the exact number that I heard, but I want to say, like, there's almost, I want to say, what was it, 70 to 80 hours or something like that?
Yeah, I heard it's a massive game.
Like, I heard they were barely able to fit it on the disc.
Yeah.
And there's already been announced DLC is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, that almost, like, turns me off on the game because I don't have the time to devote to that.
Oh, you don't want to sit down for 80 hours? You don't want to waste a week of your life on a game?
I don't have the time.
So what worries me is it being that big, all right? That means that this game is going to stress every point on the Wii U. It's going to be so massive. You know, what kind of load times are we going to look at with a game that big? What kind of, are we going to have a lot of glitches in it because there's just so much content that it can't access it all?
Well, or how do you test that?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, leaving that game on for 15 hours at a time, is it going to make the Wii U blow up? Because that's the thing. People that do these RPGs and stuff like that are devout to doing these RPGs are going to do it in a 24-hour span of, like, I'm going to pee in the corner of my room so that I don't have to stop playing this game.
RPG players' game sessions are kind of intense.
Yeah, they are.
So yeah, that is a very good point. Like, I mean, how do you test a game that big? I mean, I realize this game has been in development for three or 4 years now that I know of.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. But it's just, like I said, that is almost too much game for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the patience to sit through that. I mean, I barely was able to. In fact, I never even finished Fallout 3. Yeah. I got distracted with something else. I've just never gone back to it. And that's not quite an RPG, but close enough.
Well, and it's a very large game. It plays like an RPG.
Right, exactly.
So I can definitely understand. I mean, how are you going to entertain somebody for 80 hours to the point that they don't feel like they're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again? How much dragged out leveling up is there going to be that goes into that 80 hours? I mean,
I would hope that if this game is 80 hours or whatever, like I've been hearing, you won't have to grind. Like, to get through to the end, by the time you're at the end of the game, you've leveled naturally the way you're supposed to.
It's a role-playing game. Okay,
I would hope.
But, okay, well, then you got to look at the different type of people that play role-playing games. There's the people that want to do minimum time, minimum leveling up. How can I do this in the fastest amount of time? And then there's I'm going to find every nook and cranny in this game, 100% completion no matter what, and I'm going to play this game for 170 hours because I want to make sure that everything's 100% done before I turn it off.
Yeah, true. There are those people. And, I don't know. Just how much game is too much game, and
I guess we're gonna find out.
I am very curious about it. I will probably pick it up. I will not promise I will ever finish it though.
Oh yeah.
Another thing I'm curious. I don't know if we're actually going to see this. I'm hoping we do. Is Devil's Third, which Nintendo? Or I don't think Nintendo announced it. It was announced last year at E3.
Right.
It was not in their digital event, but it was announced on the floor, I believe. That's a game I'm really interested in because I know it was originally supposed to be an Xbox 360 and PS3, and then
through THQ.
Yeah, through THQ, and then when they went under, Nintendo basically picked it up, kind of like they did with Bayonetta. It sounds like.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It looks like a very interesting game, and I believe the Valhalla Games, which is the studio behind it, said that the version that they showed at last year's E3 it has been vastly improved. Yeah. So I'm really hoping we get to see some of it, and hopefully a launch date window for it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Nintendo's been doing something with the Wii U that they really haven't done with any other console, and that's get away from the E ratings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, with even with the Wii, man, at times I regretted buying the Wii because the game choices were like, all right, a preschooler can play this, but you can too, and that's not what I wanted all the time.
I mean, the games I find myself liking the most were Nintendo made.
Yeah.
But I quickly have realized, pretty much since the GameCube had more, but at least with the Wii U, other companies don't make very good games on Nintendo systems. Like, I don't know if they just, the hardware's so different. Cause I mean, I know obviously the Wii was so underpowered compared to the others, and now the Wii U is so underpowered compared to the others, but
it's not a simple port.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. I mean, now I will say though, Bayonetta 2 is one of the best looking games, and that is one of the most fun I've had on a game on the Wii U, and that's not a Nintendo title. Yeah, I know it's a Nintendo exclusive, but they didn't touch it. It was completely Platinum Games.
Well, and they gave you the first one, which was amazing.
Was amazing too. But like I said, I mean, somehow. And I've only played just a little bit of the Wonderful 101, which I will admit I completely thought was a kid's game.
Yeah.
And then after actually getting into it, it is not by any means. But somewhere between Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 2, Platinum Games have realized how to make a good game on the Wii U, and right. I would love to see them continue making games with Nintendo. I would love to see Bayonetta somehow get into Smash for the Wii U.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see that just because Nintendo is moving on. Smash came out. It's doing well. They released Mewtwo, which was a big thing. They're still going to release other characters, but the thing is that now they're focused on the new Zelda game coming out. Now they're focused on the Star Fox game coming out. Now they're focused on all the things that are down the line that they need to have come out.
But see, this is the way that I could work this into, because I know they're doing the voting for you can pick in your players for the Smash Brothers. There has been rumors that there is going to be another Bayonetta game, so they could say, "Hey, Bayonetta 3 is coming. It's going to be exclusive to the Wii U, but you can download Bayonetta into Smash Brothers."
Well, and then does it become all right? So you can download Bayonetta into Smash Brothers. Then 3 months later, they come out with an amiibo, and if you buy the amiibo for the Smash Brothers game, then it unlocks something in the new Bayonetta 3 that, a new weapon, a new costume, a new thing, whatever.
I would be fine with that.
See, I haven't been able to get into the amiibos yet. I think they're an interesting concept, but I just can't I don't bring myself to buy them.
Yeah, I don't own a single amiibo. Now, they did announce the Ganondorf amiibo is coming, so I will be buying that one.
Well, of course you will. For those of you that don't know, Scott is obsessed with playing as Ganondorf, second only to his Mewtwo that he can now play as. Well, no, Ganondorf's first, but Mewtwo comes second. But, yeah, and he's very good at it. He's hard to beat.
Maybe one day you all get to see some of that. But,
if Nintendo allows us.
We'll work something out. But, I've got ideas. But, no, I would like to, I would like to see, again, Platinum keep making games for the Wii U, but
yeah.
What other third party can you think of that might announce anything for the Wii U? Because I know EA obviously won't. Ubisoft, what'd they say? They just recently announced that only like 1% of their sales from the last year were Wii or Nintendo based.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to be seeing any more Ubisoft.
No, it's going to be a hard push for the third parties on Wii U. I mean, you're always going to have the ports, the Call of Duty ports and stuff like that over to it.
But we haven't. Advanced Warfare is not going to be ported, and whatever the next Call of Duty, I can't remember what I think they've got a name for it. They've already said that it's not going to be on it either. So the last one we've got was Ghosts.
Wow. Then really, I don't know. I mean, the third party, they just don't want to touch the system. It's a very specific use. I mean, you don't want to just throw a game out there because it's got a controller and a TV. With the Wii U, you've got other aspects you can throw in there, and if you're not going to use those aspects, then why are you giving it to Wii U?
I mean, I know this has been said a million times, but it is true. people buy a Nintendo console to play Nintendo games.
Yeah.
They buy a PlayStation or an Xbox to play multiple titles of games.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I've always been a Nintendo fan. I grew up as with Nintendo consoles, and that's just what I've always enjoyed. Like, I love playing Mario games. I mean, I still love playing the old Mario games and even the new ones, but I would like to play other games made by other companies.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that I have to go buy another console to do that.
Yeah, and that goes back to, like I said, like, I mean, you really get tired of playing E-rated games on this console. I mean, there are other ratings and stuff.
Right, no, I know what you're saying.
But when you look at it, I mean, you'd only play Mario for so long before you're like, I need to go shoot somebody.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to think. What's the closest Nintendo's ever gotten to mature? Is like, I would almost think the Metroid Prime games,
Because you're actually blowing stuff up.
Because you're actually shooting and killing things.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever gotten anything more mature than that. And speaking of which, I would love to have a surprise announcement of like a new set of a Metroid Prime trilogy on Wii U.
Ooh, you think they're going to have another trilogy?
I'm hoping. I mean, I will settle for just a Metroid game in general, but I would love to see another Prime.
See, I don't think that you're going to get that until the NX, because they think about what's coming out for the Wii U, or what we think is coming out for the Wii U. You've got the Star Fox, you've got the Legend of Zelda, you've got the 2 Mario games came out for the Wii U, you've got Yoshi's now got a game, Kirby's got a game. They're running out of things that when the NX comes out,
right?
What are you going to throw out with it that people are going to go, all right, I got to go get the NX because I got to have that game.
Again, I mean, I'm
not that Nintendo's ever been good at doing that.
This is more, again, speculation on my part. And I guess you could actually see this in 2 different ways. Nintendo recently just released the Metroid Prime Trilogy collection on the Wii, or the Wii U Virtual Console.
Right.
Is that to satiate our desire for a new Metroid game, or is that to say, hey, this is something that we're going to get your interest in again because we got this coming out?
It could be, but like I said, I really don't think that we're going to see a new Metroid game until the new system comes out.
I guess
because if you think about it, they've announced that there's a new system coming.
Right.
So you have to figure within the next year and a half, 2 years, we're going to have that system. Guessing.
Right. It's announced in 2016, and I believe like with the Wii U, they announced it 1 year. It was at 2 E3s, then out later that year. So we would,
by Christmas of
we
the
would probably see
following year.
Right. So if they announced it in 2016, I believe we'd probably see it Christmas 2017.
Which I agree with. So to think about that, all right, that's a year and a half away from right now. And they've still got to come out with, like I said, the Zelda. The Star Fox is coming out, we think, by Christmas. We'll probably find out more about that on the E3.
Right.
The Zelda game, we know we're probably not... We might see before 2017, but it's not looking... before 2016, but it's not looking that way.
Yeah, they've said, 2015 is no longer a priority.
Right, so if it comes out before then, great, but most likely not.
Well, I want to get your opinion on this. I've heard quite a few people with this fear. What would you think if they did announce that the Zelda Wii U is actually not going... It's either not going to be on the Wii U, or it's going to be coming out on both the Wii U and the NX, kind of like they did with Twilight Princess, because that came out on the Wii and the GameCube. It was originally developed as a GameCube game and then ported to the Wii.
Well, what I would say is, all right, that's fine if you want to do that, but then give us the Zelda, March or May of 2016, and then have the console come out Christmas of 2016, because then if I enjoyed the game so much playing it in March, then I'll want to get it for the NX when I get the NX. But I don't want that to be the reason that I buy an NX.
Well, that was kind of like how they got me, honestly, with the Wii, because I remember when the Wii came out, Twilight Princess was a launch title.
Yeah,
because I picked up Twilight Princess and the Wii at the exact same time, and that was like, I'm looking at the lineup of games, like, there's really nothing coming out that's like, it's new Zelda. So, yeah, I went and bought a Wii so I could play Zelda. And I had nothing to play for a long time after I beat that Zelda. But I talk like I'm hating on the Wii. I really did enjoy the Wii. There was a lot of good games on the Wii. there were even some third-party games I did like on the Wii. It just wasn't as many as there were in the generation before.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing that I thought the Wii U was going to fix, because when the Wii U was getting ready to come out, all these third-party vendors came out and were like, oh man, we've messed with the Wii U. We can't wait to make our game specifically for the Wii U. And now it's like, yeah, well, we can't make money off of it.
The best one, the very best one in my opinion, was, aside from all the EA stuff I'm not going to get into, was Metro Last Light.
Yeah.
It was the sequel to Metro 2033. They're like, oh yeah, this is going to be a launch title for the Wii U. Which turned into, hey, this is going to come out later on the Wii U. Which turned into, hey, the Wii U's not powerful enough to play our game. It's not coming out. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people disproved that, and it was found out. Again, Metro was owned by THQ,
yeah.
So the reason why they weren't porting it was because they didn't have the money to do so. But I mean, I just love that was their excuse, was, oh yeah, it's not powerful enough. And yet they put it out on the 360 and the PS3. And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the third-party stuff is going to be really hard to see, because if they lose that third-party following for the Wii U here in the next year before the NX comes out, how are you going to have anything on the NX?
Yeah.
I mean, unless the NX just comes out and blows everything out of the water, which Nintendo is not really known for doing.
They're known for putting out consoles that people can afford.
Yeah.
And they have this idea still. I think they're the only ones that do it. They want to release a console that they can make money off of.
Right.
Where I know the Xbox and the PlayStation both lost money with every one sold.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah, but they were hoping to recoup it on the games.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere like with 1 or 2 games purchased for either one, they made a profit.
Right.
Where Nintendo, we want to make a profit on the console and the game.
Right.
And
everything's got to be in the plus, in the green.
Right. And to be fair, they even though they did that, they still suffered 2-3 years of straight losses. Like
yeah.
Last year was the first year they had a profit of some sort.
Well, and that's because you had Smash Brothers, you had the established Mario games coming out.
The Mario Kart.
You had Mario Kart. I mean, there was a lot of things, and that's what Nintendo is horrible about, and that's why I'm kind of iffy about saying, well, maybe they're going to hold this stuff off for the NX, because they've been horrible about doing that. They sit there and they go, okay, well, we're going to come out with this console. Well, what's coming out with the console?
You wanted games?
Well, here's this game that's on the Wii U, but we made it for the NX.
Right.
You want to play that?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I was suckered in with the Wii U thinking, okay, Nintendo's finally going to do it right. They're going to have really good launch games. And to be fair, there were some really good launch games, but there was only a few. Like, I bought Zombie U and the new Super Mario Bros. U or whatever, and I really enjoyed those 2 games, but that's all I had to play for a long time. I can't remember what the next game was that came out. I just remember I was almost like begging for games to come out, so I would have something so I could justify buying it.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing with me, and I know I talked to you about it before, was when I didn't buy the Wii U right away, and that's because I couldn't see a purpose to it. Yeah, there was a couple games that would have been really cool to play and stuff, and I love the concept of what it was doing, but I couldn't justify buying it and it's sitting in my basement for 8 months before I was like, all right, there's this game I gotta buy, which was Smash Brothers. That's the one that made me go out and buy the Wii U. I went out and was like, all right, well, it's gonna come out in 3 months. I gotta go buy the Wii U so that I can do some stuff and get ready for the mess with the controls and do all that kind of stuff to get used to it. So I just hope they don't do that with the NX, because it's a killer to have a game system that you want to play and you want to have a good experience with.
But you have nothing to do with it, or
nothing.
Yeah,
nothing to play on it.
So I know we've obviously I'm hoping to see Metroid at E3. Is there any other Nintendo games that you are hoping to see? I know they said they've said that they have unannounced games that are coming.
Right.
Like, what are you like? Throw who cares logistics out the window. What do you want to see? Like, what is your game that you want to see surprised by?
I would like them to bring back some of the old RPGs and stuff that they had before. I know when you think about games like this, like the Mario Party and stuff like that kind of took the place of Mario RPG. But I would love to have like a Mario RPG game on the Nintendo.
People have been rumoring that. I know that Paper Mario kind of was a spiritual successor. There has been rumors of a new one.
Because that would be awesome. Like, if they came out and they were like, all right, here's this new game, and it was like Mario RPG 2000 or something, something crazy like that, I would be like, all right, well, I'm getting that as soon as it comes out. Like, it could look like crap for all I care, but the fact that it's a Mario RPG game, I'd be like, nope, gotta try it.
Yeah, again, I love the original Mario RPG. I never really got into the Paper Mario games.
I really liked them. I played both of them. Well, I think there's 3 of them.
I believe there's 3.
I played the first 2.
I've heard bad things about the 3rd.
Probably. But the first 2 I really liked. They played like a Mario game. You had different characters you could switch in and switch out. You had a partner that you could switch in and switch out based on different strengths and stuff like that. Like you said, that kind of took the place of the Mario RPG type thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to see something like that. Kind of like, I mean, I would like to see a game that would do for the Wii U or do for the NX, if that's what you want to do, what Mario 64 did for the 64.
Oh yeah.
I mean that game, and you go back and play that game, and you're like, why did I have so much problems going through this game? It's so simple and easy. But it was the first 3D world Mario that we had.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I recently, ever since they put that on the Wii U, I've replayed it. And I completely agree. Like, why did I find this hard as a kid? But it was still fun. Like, I still had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, going back and playing it with seeing how games are being made now. Like, okay, this world is just a giant JPEG with just platforms around it. But I remember being so immersed as a kid into it, and I would love to have that feeling with... It doesn't even have to be a Mario game, but just any kind of game. I would love to see Nintendo do that again.
Yeah, and I guess when I'm saying a Mario RPG, that kind of gets hazy because the new Mario Worlds and the new stuff like that is similar to what you're looking for, like the Mario Galaxy, sorry.
Oh, right.
Because that's kind of more of an open world or more of a 3D-based game that they took from like the Nintendo 64 and did that. But what I want is something that's similar to that, but I want them to come out with this thing that I'm going to go, holy crap, that's a fantastic idea to do with Mario. It doesn't have to be Mario, It's kind of like when you look at the Zelda thing that they're coming out with. Zelda's been done 100 times, but this new Zelda game that's coming out...
Right, that's
would make me buy anything that they had. Like, if you're gonna have to spend $2,000 on a new console to buy this new Zelda game, I'm gonna go, God damn it, I gotta start saving right now because I have to have it.
I'm going to the bank.
Yeah, I'm taking out a loan. I gotta do something so I can have this game.
I mean, I am hoping that's the vibe I get. Nintendo's trying to go with that game with the new Zelda. I loved how they revealed it, like at last E3 when they were like, it's like, oh yeah, we have inspiration from the original Zelda, and they're showing all these screenshots.
And didn't they have it as like there's a background?
Yeah,
he's behind them talking. It was behind. What the hell is that?
Enuma. He's sitting there talking about it, and they're showing like short little videos of the original Zelda. Yeah. And all of a sudden he goes, "It'd be neat if we had something like that." And there it is.
And then all of a sudden, you seen Link running in on Epona and stuff. You're like, oh well, that's Link. Oh! And then all of a sudden the camera started following. And you're like, oh my god! And then
And then the thing starts chasing him. It's like, and he's like, this is all in-game footage. Like, this is not a cinematic. This is what and it's like, oh, it looked amazing. And I was like, I want this now. Let me play this. And that's why I was so depressed when I saw that they said 2015 is no longer a priority. I mean, after just like pounding that in, like, yeah, this is going to be out in 2015, Zelda Wii U 2015. And then I can't remember that award show. They showed another clip of Zelda Wii U, and like, oh yeah, this is coming out in 2015, and Star Fox is coming out before it, but this is still coming out in 2015.
Yeah.
And then just a couple months later, yeah, 2015. Who cares? It's like, I care.
I think we all care. We just, but that's the thing with gamers is they want it and they want it now, and but. I don't know. If they pushed it off to the NX, I could definitely understand why, if that's the main draw that they're going to have for the NX. Because like I said, if they did that, I have to go buy an NX now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's no way I'm not playing that game at some point. Like I just wish, I hope it's out on the Wii U, and I hope it's out sooner than later, and I hope somehow that's an announcement they're going to make. I don't think it is.
I think we're going to get a basic preview again.
Yeah,
like they showed the sailcloth and showed that real horses don't run into trees and stuff like that. I mean, I think we're just going to get another little glimpse of that. Like, oh, hey, here's him using the rock feather to jump over something. It's something from like an old game that they show new.
Right. I could definitely see them doing that. I mean, I hope we get something kind of new. I hope we get some idea of maybe the story, or maybe we're at vaguely we're at in the timeline,
or to even just show a few more characters. Show us what Zelda looks like, or show us what Ganon's gonna look like, or even if it's like a shadow of a glimpse of like him, and you're like, whoa.
I want to see something that we haven't seen yet with what they've showed. Like, I know they have shown a lot of the outdoors, what it's gonna look like. I'd like to see maybe a temple, what a dungeon might look like, or maybe a town.
Yeah,
I would like just something new that we haven't seen about this game yet. I hope we get that. I hope it's not just a splash screen that says Zelda Wii U coming out
2016,
maybe.
Maybe question mark.
DLC right after. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. Like, the only other, like I said, the unannounced game I want is I want a new Metroid Prime game. I will take a side-scrolling Metroid, but I want another first-person shooter Metroid, because I love those 3 games. Like, those were amazing. And was it Retro Studios that worked on those? They need to Nintendo needs to contact Retro Studios and be like, hey, we know you did well with those Prime games, and you're doing okay with the Donkey Kong games, but go back and do some more Prime games and make everybody happy with that. Another thing, real quick, I'd like to see with a new F-Zero.
Yeah, and they've been alluding to that so much in the Mario Kart games. Like, there's all these little, like, oh, here's another F-Zero level. Like, oh, here's another F-Zero level. And here's a car that's in the F-Zero stuff. Here's all this, but you don't get any characters. No, you can't have that.
If you have the Captain Falcon amiibo, you can have a hat.
Yeah.
but those stages are so well made. Like, they've got those little touches of F-Zero, like the like, wow, you're on the final lap. And it's like,
final lap.
God, it's like, give me the F-Zero game. And then, what was it? In Nintendo Land, there was an F-Zero level.
Yep.
And it's like, just make this game. You know you want to do it. I can tell. We want it.
Well, and what would be neat about that is because F-Zeros are historically just racing games, it'd be nice to have a racing / playable game. Like, there's other stuff that you have to do. A racing game's cool.
Right.
Especially on the Wii U, it'd be nice to have one that, is a Nintendo-based Wii U controller game.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be really neat to have that along with a thicker story that you can follow along and stuff like that. Because if you just throw out a racer, you already got that.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, that would be cool. I could be completely behind that, have some kind of a story in it somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if Mortal Kombat can have a story, why can't F-Zero?
Yeah. Mortal Kombat storylines are like, what? But yeah, no, I can understand that.
I'm fine with the Mortal Kombat story. Like, I have no problem with it, but I'm just saying, it's a fighting game. So if a fighting game
can have a
storyline, why can't F-Zero?
Yeah, well, I can understand that. Yeah, and I would be very interested to see some more newer games, new thought processes, new things that aren't rehashes and using the old characters just to drum up business and stuff like that. Like Splatoon, like you said.
Exactly.
I would love to see some new thoughts that are, they're going to show a preview of it and I'm going to go, what the hell is that? I got to find out more about it.
Right. I mean, that's something else I was kind of thinking is, do you think we're going to get new IPs?
I hope so. But again,
I mean, I know
without having third parties, that's so hard to do. I mean, the guys at Nintendo are so behind what they've already done.
But the thing is, though, and I know with Splatoon, is those were young kids that did Splatoon.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that there's more like teams of these young people who are challenging that thought process of like, because originally in Splatoon, I don't know if you've heard this, that was supposed to be Mario. Like,
really?
They were supposed to put Mario with his stupid flood.
Oh, I hate that stupid backpack. That game. Oh, my God. I had to beat it, though. Once I started it, I couldn't stop it.
But no, that was originally supposed to be Mario with flood or something. And they're like, no, let's do something new. And I would love to see more stuff coming from Nintendo with that mindset. It's like, let's do this, and who cares if we put old characters in it? Let's put something new in it. I mean, I know obviously that team's probably just, I know Splatoon's done or just about done, but I would love to see it. Hopefully they're jumping onto something else. They're probably not going to have anything ready, but I'm hoping there's other teams like them that are. And I hope there's other teams that saw how well this is being received and be like, oh, hey, we can put out a game that doesn't have Mario in it or doesn't have Zelda in it or whatever. And people can latch onto this new idea. Because I cannot honestly tell you the last new IP. I think it was probably Pikmin.
Yeah.
And
which, by the way, I did love the new Pikmin on Wii U. I loved playing through it. I thought it was a great game. But yeah, I could definitely understand that. And that's one thing that I've never understood Nintendo not doing more of. There's tons of gaming companies that are just having problems. They start these games and they start putting them together and everything, and they run into financial problems. Nintendo could go out and buy these little companies, or even just buy the rights to their games and bring on people to finish them out and stuff like that for a relatively cheap price. And, you know, find a few games that, like, really just blow you away. Like, you start talking to these people and the concept is amazing, and buy it, finish it, make it great, and then throw it out there and see what happens.
Right.
Because there's too much of, oh, well, we gotta wait for the next Star Fox. Oh, well, we gotta wait for the next Zelda. Oh, we gotta wait for the new Mario.
Like, I remember a little while ago, Atlas Games, I believe, was up for sale, and everyone's screaming at Nintendo to buy them. And they didn't. And I don't understand why. Like, they could do it. They could easily afford it. But I don't know. They just have this mindset, and it's been a hard one to crack.
Yeah, and like you said, they're just not. They don't want to get away from what's worked for them. They don't, and I can understand that. It's hard to break away from that. But at a certain point, if you want to make new money, or you want to make more money than what you've already got going on, you know Zelda's going to make you money. You know Smash Brothers is going to make you money. You know Mario Kart's going to make you money. Find something else that's like that.
Right. Well, and kind of like I said, though, for the last, I want to say 3 years, they haven't made money. No. So, obviously, these ideas, as bad as that sounds, I hope that taught them a lesson that they need to fix what they're doing.
Yeah, what I worry about is that they're going to start spreading releases out. Because it used to be that it was like, all right, we got the new Zelda, we got the new Star Fox. You know, it was pushed out when it was ready, not when they thought they needed to make money. And I'm afraid that when you lose money over that consistent of a time, I think that's what happened to Zelda. Is it's like, oh well, we don't want to release it with Star Fox. Let's push it back a little bit. When do you think Star Fox will stop making us money? Now let's push it back to that.
I could see that being the case. I hope it's not. I hope it's an honest, we are trying to finish polishing this game or implement. I can't remember what exactly he said. He said something about implementing new ideas or something like that. I hope it is that's honestly what it is, and it's not like, hey, we could push this back and hopefully get more sales. That's when it starts getting disgusting to me, because I'd rather see a company that makes games to make games and not make games just to maximize profit.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's a business. They can't continue to make games if they don't make money.
Right, no, I
can understand that.
Yeah.
But don't go, all right, we're going to release Zelda at this time, and then all of a sudden go, oh, but Star Fox is supposed to come out around that. Oh, man. We got to... Do we push back Star Fox? No, let's push back Zelda.
Yeah.
People will wait on Zelda.
Well, and that's the thing, is that we will. I mean, I know I'm going to end up getting both, but I'd like to have both sooner. But I don't know. That's kind of like my thoughts on what to expect.
Yeah, and I just can't wait. Really, I mean, we got 2-3 weeks before we'll find out exactly what's going on, and just see what happens.
We'll probably have another podcast about our thoughts on E3.
Yeah, about how everything that's going to be released. And even though this one was mainly about Nintendo, I would imagine that one will be a kind of an overall thing, because we do play the Xbox and different stuff like that. Really, the only ones that neither one of you... I stopped after PS2. Did you even have a PS2?
I've never owned a PlayStation. Now, I have some family that do, and when I see them for holidays, I'll play the PS3. I don't think they have a PS4, so I think it's just PS3.
Yeah.
But I've got nothing against it. I just never. I was always, like I said, I grew up with Nintendo, so that's what I've stuck with. And at one point, I eventually had to break down and buy Xbox so I could shoot some zombies.
Yep. So we will definitely have another one to go over E3 because I'm sure there's going to be a lot coming out over that little span of time that we'll have plenty to talk about.
And I guess we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IdiotSpeak podcast number 3.
Trace.
Today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones.
Yes, and I'm going to spoil everything. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers,